with Marty Usman here, and another tough match. Just
champion Marty Usman from Nebraska.
Speaking with Marty Usman, who's
my name.
What is the Marty thing?
That
Explain
was
this
his
to
name,
me.
Michael. That was his name.
His name is Kamaru
His
Usman.
name
Tell
was
him real
Marty.
fast.
Google Marty Usman. You'll see all
Are you
these wrestling
serious?
matches. I'm so serious. It's not even. Listen.
So
it
hold on,
wasn't
you're
even
saying
an insult.
on his passport it will say
listen,
Martin.
No. Google Marty Usman, and you will bring up all his college
This can
wrestling
take a
matches.
while,
just so you
Marty
know.
just doesn't
We'll
sound
let him go.
Nigerian enough. Is that what
It's
you're
his damn
saying?
name was. I knew him as Marty Usman. I wasn't even trying to insult the guy.
Marty tried attacking me 20 minutes ago. Listen, I knew this dude. We trained together at the Olympic Training Center. He was Marty then. I didn't even come at him when I got to UFC because I liked him. I thought he was a good dude.
Usman is obviously born in Nigeria, is an immigrant, and Trump has some fairly divisive.
He wasn't born in Nigeria.
Is he not? That's what his UFC website says.
No, go look on his website from college. He was born in Arlington, Texas. That's why I call him Marty Fake Newsman. He wasn't born in Nigeria. He was born in Arlington, Texas, and he went to school in Nebraska. That's why he's literally his name is Fake Newsman.
Fair enough.
Only 2 years ago, Kamaru Usman was known as the Nigerian that would be a nightmare for all of his opponents. The way the masses viewed Kamaru saw a shift though when Ben Askren entered the UFC and started his verbal attack on every fighter in the welterweight division. The fighter that seemed to be most affected from Ben Askren's verbal tirade was Kamaru Usman. Ben Askren had information on Kamaru that nobody else did. Ben Askren was heavily involved in the college wrestling scene, and he'd actually heard of Kamaru a long time before his UFC debut. This is where the controversies began to arise. Ben Askren did not know Kamaru as the Nigerian. He knew Kamaru as Marty from Nebraska, a nickname that was given to him during his wrestling career. As soon as Ben got the chance, he used this information against Kamaru and started a campaign, making people believe that Kamaru isn't maybe the person that he says he is. This caused a lot of backlash from the fans and fighters, begging the question, really, who is Kamaru Usman? Before I say anything else, I do want to make it clear that Kamaru is in fact from Nigeria. He was born in Oshi, Nigeria, and he had lived there until he was 8 when his family finally moved to the USA to provide a better life for him and his brothers. So some of you might be wondering, if Kamaru is in fact from Nigeria, then what the heck is all the talks of him being Marty from Nebraska about? Well, let me explain that. When Kamaru first started wrestling in high school, his coach had a very hard time pronouncing his real name, Kamarudin. This resulted in his coach giving him the nickname Marty. From there, he went on to wrestle at Nebraska, and the nickname just stuck. It went from Kamaru's coach calling him Marty, to his teammates calling him Marty, to the whole college wrestling scene, knowing Kamaru as Marty from Nebraska, rather than his real true self. Kamaru knows his true upbringing, so the Marty from Nebraska thing doesn't bother him. He understands that his full name is hard to pronounce, and he knew that his coaches didn't have any ill will intentions behind calling him Marty.
And I freaking just signed up for wrestling. I went in and he's reading the roll sheet, calling names, and he goes, Kamaru, who's this kid? Who the fuck is this kid? And I'm like, that's me, coach. He's like, that's your name? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm not saying that because my whole full name is Kamarudin. And he's like, I'm not going to say that. Like, Kamarudin, I'm going to call you Marty.
Right.
So now Marty went from just now everyone on the team calling me Marty to where people knew about the wrestling, around the wrestling circuit, in high school are calling me Marty. Oh, that Marty guy, that kid's good. And then now college coaches are calling like, oh, I want to recruit this kid, this Kamarudian kid. And he's like, ooh, Marty? So now they know me as Marty. So now I go to college and the coach is calling me Marty. And now the college team is calling me Marty. Now here's the situation with this whole Ben Askren thing is, like I just mentioned, if I was just a regular guy who sucked, no one cares. No one knows your name. You die out.
Right.
but because I made waves. Like I was that Marty kid that wrestled at Nebraska that's beating the shit out of everyone.
The whole situation doesn't bother Kamaru in the slightest. He understands what his upbringing was, he knows who he truly is. It's really only the fans and the fighters that seem to have a different opinion. Now I will say, the one person who seemed to handle it right was Ben Askren. He kind of did it in a joking way, more saying that he knew Kamaru as Marty, not necessarily saying that he's a fake and a fraud. Some of the fans and other fighters did take this information and handle it wrong though. A lot made it seem like Kamaru was hiding something, when in reality he really wasn't. A lot of people like to hate on Kamaru, because he might not have the most interesting personality or the most flashy fight style, but at the end of the day he's dominant. What else does this man have to do to gain people's respect? Just take a look at this. These are the current top 10 ranked welterweights in the world, and Kamaru Usman has beat 6 of them. Michael Chiesa and Jeff Neal, those guys are up and coming. Wonder Boy's kind of on the decline. None of these guys are on the level of guys like Edwards, Woodley, Masvidal, Covington. People need to start respecting what Usman has done and realize that he is potentially a future great. Don't let everything you hear in the news always fool you. Kamaru Usman is in fact Nigerian, and my God, is this man a nightmare.